I am LOMACHENKO. You're watching Dante's Boxing Nation.
Go ahead and let everybody know what your thoughts are on the Lomachenko versus Walters fight.
I got Lomachenko by UD, unanimous decision. It's gonna be a good fight.
Okay.
But I think Lomachenko gonna pull it off.
And like you said before, you just think his angles and all of that is just going to be too much for Walters, right?
I just think too skillful for him.
Okay.
But Walters not gonna lay down. He gonna fight.
So let me ask you this before I let you go, man. Since you guys are in the 130-pound division, what's your take on Lomachenko versus Nicholas Walters?
Yeah, that's a very interesting fight. I already fought Nicholas Walters with a fighter with only 3 amateur fights. And if you look at Jason Sosa and Nicholas Walters, right, when they fought,
that's
and
right.
I know a lot of eyes people had Nicholas Walters won a fight. I thought that Nicholas Walters won the fight, but not what they had in that one. I think we won at least 4 rounds. And if we would have got the 4 rounds, you know what, son, it's a different topic we're talking about. But when Jason decided in between rounds, once in a while he wanted to box, Nicholas Walters had trouble with him. And Jason, honestly, he's no boxer. He's no Tevin Farmer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I just believe that you're talking about a guy. What's it called, Bobby? You're talking about a guy that had 400 amateur, actually 399. He lost 1 fight. He's a 2-time, Olympic gold medalist. So you and I know that this is. When he is in that ring, he's gonna box very, very smooth lift. He has a lot of experience behind it. And Nicholas Walters is a flat-foot fighter. Let's be honest. Who has he fought?
Who has
Don't
Nicholas?
tell me Donito. Do not say Donito because Donito's an old fighter and he was coming up weight.
When you say he was an old fighter, he was still looking like Nonito Donaire in there. I mean, he wasn't slow. He wasn't gassed out. He actually even hurt Nicholas Walters in the 2nd round. I think that's a huge win. I don't, to me, not too many fighters today have a win as good as that one over Nonito Donaire, in my opinion. So
I think that I believe I'm agree to disagree. Agree is good win because it was a name that maybe 3 years ago, he was one of the best fighters out there. But I'm disagreeing because I think that Lomachenko beating Gary Russell, a young Gary Russell, an Olympic Gary Russell, somebody who had over 300 amateur fights as well, and a really good fighter who's the WBC champion as we speak. In my opinion, that victory is more impressive than Chris beating, Nicholas beating Donito.
Well,
and on top of that, we're talking about undefeated fighter who gave him his first loss, and he didn't make it look where it was I could have gone out of the way. No, that was strictly domination by Lomachenko to a really, really, really good fighter.
Well, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you on how impressive the Gary Russell fight win was. I talk about that all the time. But I think, to me, as far as I'm concerned, they were both impressive for different reasons. I mean, you had Nonito Donaire, who had never been knocked out before, and he moves up in weight and he gets knocked out. A lot of people, they actually still had Donaire as the favorite. I believe Donaire was slightly the favorite to win that fight. So me personally, I see both of those as very impressive wins. But I think when it comes to Lomachenko, because I was going to ask you about this, to me, it's a catch-22 because he has this really impressive win over Gary Russell, like you said. But at the same time, the catch is he lost to Orlando Salido. And some would argue that he has a problem with that type of style because it's not so much of an amateur style that he's used to. It was this unorthodox type of professional style that was aggressive and unorthodox. So, what would you say about that?
Well, it's 2 different fighters. If you look at Nicholas Walters when he fought Jason Sosa, when Jason Sosa was putting pressure, Nicholas Walters became what? A counterpuncher.
Actually, I thought it was the contrary. Because it looked to me like Nicholas Walters, he was actually fighting Jason Sosa on the inside. He would stay real close to Jason Sosa. He was using that Philly shoulder roll and that Philly shell, and he was fighting him pretty much on the inside the entire night. And what I seen was it was actually Jason who started to box when it was Nicholas Walters who wanted to stay on the inside. I mean, isn't that pretty much how it played out?
It went both ways. There was times that he stayed his ground, and then if you notice, Nicholas Walters, which like I said, I gave him a lot of credit because he adjusted. You know, Nicholas Walters, if you look at his 3 fights, just like Javier Fortuna, prior to fighting Jason, when that bell rang, they strictly just ran and attacked the opponent. He didn't do that because he had respect. He felt the power. At the end of the day, but I give him credit because he showed defense that I didn't personally think he had. He came with the rotation of that shoulder. It was very impressive. Now, what I did was, due to the fact that I had a fighter with 3 amateur fights, and on top of that, the biggest fight of his career, co-main event on HBO, I know that had a lot of pressure on him, just like Lomachenko with Felitos. You know, this is a fight that was his second professional fight, fighting main event for the WBO against a veteran. That played a big part. Because if you notice in that fight, I'm going to go back and forth, in that fight with Lomachenko, first of all, he was very dirty, meaning Felitos, a lot of low blows, and on top of that, after the 6th round, I believe, Lomachenko started adjusting. After that, he started just picking him apart, but by then it was a little bit too late. So I go back to Jason. Jason, the time that you had Jason boxing was because I was trying to see, listen, give me angles, let's box, because you box, you look good, and there's opening. Because when he was toe-to-toe, he didn't have the experience and the know-how how to open offense. And Nicholas Walters, at that particular time, he saw very comfortable with the rotation of the shoulder, and then he was countering with those beautiful body shots. That was gorgeous. You have to admit, you know, that was flawless.
Oh, yeah.
He was able to adjust, you know, so I give credit where credit's due. You know, we get to draw, you know what, I think the law, I let it be and move on. You know, we're doing bigger things as we speak. You know, he's the WBA champion. I mean, thanks the Lord for that.
Yeah,
but,
I go ahead.
I just think, you know, going back to Donito, why that victory for me was not as impressive because and then he fights Rigondeaux and he completely gets dominated. So now you got to ask yourself, how good is he? Was he good because they was putting just typical Mexicans in front of him, and he was the bigger individual, the bigger fighter, just like Nicholas Walters was at that time, 126? Because you know, I just believe that when you get outboxed the way he got outboxed, he got knocked out by Nicholas Walters, and then he gets dominated horribly. Like I thought he should have retired by
Walters.
Rigondeaux. So you got to ask yourself, how good is he?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. That's I don't know. I just think that Lomachenko is more.
But
more.
Well, you know, I agree with you when you talk about Nonito Donaere's level of opposition. And when you ask the question, was he just beating these guys because of natural size and power? Because that's exactly what it was. The fact that he struggled against fighters like Wilfredo Vasquez, he had a split decision against him. He struggled against Mathabula and other fighters. And as soon as he stepped up in competition, he got dominated by Guillermo Rigondeaux. Then he got further dominated and knocked out by Nicholas Walters, where he could no longer rely on his power like he was able to do in the smaller weight classes. In those fights, those smaller weight classes, Nonito Donaire, he was able to count on his power to basically bail him out of trouble. But if you really think about it, though, that could be said about even a lot of fighters today that are undefeated. You have a lot of fighters today that, you know, they're undefeated right now and they rely mainly on their power. And we're praising them as pound for pound, number 2, number 3, number 4. But yet they've never really faced a guy, you know, who had a skill set that's on the same level as theirs. I mean, fighters like Gennady Golovkin comes to mind, you know, when I think about that, you know. So a lot of these fighters, they get a lot of respect like Donaire did until they get exposed. You know,
100%.
Yeah.
And that's why I like Loma.
Yeah.
I like Loma because he's seen it all. I'm not taking nothing away from Nicholas. I like Nicholas Walters. I think he's a very smart fighter. I just believe that if Jason, who's not a boxer, the reason he's not a boxer is because he learns with TEVIN and he learns with the guys at the gym. Because I put him to box because I don't want him to be so predictable and just, you know, I mean, if Nicholas Walters exposed him, let's be real. You know, okay, I'm gonna take your power away, and if I could take your power away, what else do you have?
Yeah. That's.
He has 3 amateur fights, so that plays a huge part. He's learning in the job. That's the reality of it. But In the other hand, Nicholas Walter was not going to be able to expose, Loma, with no kind of because he doesn't have that power to intimidate. Listen, the shot he hit Jason Sosa, you and I know, and everybody says that anybody else would have gone down with that shot.
You said which shot? Which shot are you talking about?
When Nicholas Walter hit Jason, I think it was in the 5th round with a nasty right. Boom! I mean, completely rotate shoulder, and he hit him with a solid right, and Jason just shook it off like nothing and just kept walking.
Yeah, you got to attribute.
Anybody else would have been down. So now you got to ask yourself: is he as strong as he was at super featherweight?
Well, but that could also be attributed to Jason Sosa having a hell of a chin and kind of partially smothering the punch. Because I noticed that with Jason Sosa too. Jason Sosa, he was able to stay close to Nicholas Walters throughout that fight and kind of smother a lot of Walters' punches, because when Walters knocked out Donaire, that was a full extension right hand that knocked him out.
That's correct.
Jason Sosa was smothering. He was smart. Sosa was in there smothering a lot of what Walters was throwing too. So I kind of credit that to Jason Sosa as well. No doubt about it. You keep moving up in weight, your power is not going to be the same. But that could also be said about Lomachenko too, because he's moving up in weight too. So
yeah, but 100%. But so we have to. What we have to do, we got to let's evaluate both fighters at 130. So Nicholas Walter for Jason, do 100%. Okay, Sosa could take a hell of a shot. I mean, it's incredible how good he could take a shot, but it doesn't make a difference. In people's eye, Machenko 26-0 or 21 by knockout, if I'm not mistaken, and he hit Jason with his best shot. Jason walked right through it. And then you got Machenko coming up, and then he fights the Rocky, which, okay, we understand, that, it is what it is. Rocky, it's not the same Rocky, but he dominated him and knocked him out ugly. So people just going to look at, okay, well, Machenko shows a little bit more crack. And that might not be the case. Now, you and I know that might not be the case, but the reality, because it's, different opposition. Because in my opinion, I think Nicholas Walter would have took Rocky and stopped him also in between, first 4 rounds. Also.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. But
it's exciting. We have a lot of good fights. I'm just hoping that, by next year, my TEVIN is fighting one of those guys. Look, I'm gonna give a good. This is my take on it, and you don't have to agree, okay? Because TEVIN is here. You can be honest. In my opinion, I'll fight Nicholas Walter, and we will kill him. It will not even be a competition. So this is TEVIN,
nice,
right? And
interesting.
I'm not saying that TEVIN is better than Machenko. Machenko better than TEVIN, but yes, Machenko is a really, really good fighter, and to an extent, he has a really, really good footwork. He don't have Tevin's defense, but he has really good footwork. So
tremendous footwork.
If I know, and this is why I'm taking Machenko, if I know that we could fight Nicholas Walter 2 months from now, I'm telling you, it will be boring. The same thing we did to Ivan Rekatch is the same thing I would do to Nicholas Walter with TEVIN, 100%.
Whoa, hey, well, I'm glad you said it, man, because you just sold the fight, so I'm glad. And the reason why I called you guys up, because when I did my prediction video for Lomachenko versus Walters at the Mayweather gym, everybody kept bringing up Tevin Farmer's name. Everybody kept saying, man, I want to see Tevin Farmer against the winner, et cetera, et cetera. So it's interesting you brought that up. But
I have. This is what I've been telling my crew at my gym and the people surround me. They believe in me because I've made them all believe it through the years of how I've been doing what I do with all of my guys. We will dance circles, easy work with Nicholas Walter, and I got the kryptonite for Lomachenko, which is the kryptonite is called Tevin Farmer, the American Idol.
Dope. Okay, man, I like that. Man, I can't wait. I just hope all these guys get to face each other, man. So I hope with all his help that he makes the best fight happen. In my opinion, call me crazy, but I think Tevin's gonna be the face of boxing at his weight class. I put my life on that if I have to, and it's just a matter of time. That's why when I got the call, listen, are you interested in fighting? Ivan Rekatch off the back. I was like, yes. They're like, are you sure? And what? Yes, I want that fight. He's like, well, that's 135. I don't care. I'm moving up 7 to 135 because I knew
that was my opportunity to prove to the world who Tevin Farmer is. And if we did what we did with a fighter who is the runner-up of the Olympic team for Ukraine with 300 amateur fights, 19 and 1 and 15 by knockout, and we get 5 pounds in that scale, so what I said about Tevin, that was my opportunity to prove to the world. And then top of that, not only was to show how great Tevin is, I wanted to show the world, which we did, that we are versatile. We fight from the outside and make it pretty. Our defense is spectacular, and we could also fight in the inside, and we could bang it. We have, and as we bang, we don't get hit. So that was like an A+ performance. And now, individuals like yourself and promoters and fighters, I understand we made it more difficult for us because nobody wants to fight Tevin unless we put a big check on these guys. That's the reality of it. Nobody's good. Listen, you can tell Lomachenko, hey, listen, you're gonna fight Tevin Farmer, okay, or Nicholas. I guarantee you they're gonna be like, I'm not fighting him unless you're gonna give me at least $1 million. I guarantee.